tops yesterday, and because it's been so nice, and I was like, I'm still wearing vibrant colors, and I just refuse to, when it's like 80, I'm just not feeling it. I was like, but I will take every extra one thing. Even Molly told me, she's like, you look so cute. I was like, wow.
But pink is the color for that. Because I just got a pink twist.
Oh,
And
pink, so pink. Okay.
Pink face. Okay.
I didn't even get a picture of them. Well, I'm far from that, but yeah, far from trends, you know.
Let's call the meeting to order. Stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All board members are here. Heather is absent. She is home with little baby Melissa. This meeting was submitted to the Green Bay Press-Gazette on Friday, October 10th, 2025. The meeting notice was distributed on Friday, October 10th, 2025 for posting to the Bank of Luxembourg Home Office, Luxembourg Post Office, and Casco Post Office. Our district's mission statement: we inspire minds, challenge students, and promote excellence. We are Spartans. I need a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Motion by Dave, second by
I'll second.
Robin. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. The Board of Education recognizes the value of public comments on educational issues and the importance of allowing members of the public to express themselves on district matters. Prior to making a public comment, individuals must announce their name, address, and group affiliation. Each speaker's comments are limited to 3 minutes. All statements are to be directed to the presiding officer. No person may address or question board members individually. Speakers should not expect an immediate response or reaction to their comments. Do we have any comments tonight? Hearing none. Our next meeting dates are October 27th, 2025 at 7 o'clock for our annual meeting, which will be followed by a special board meeting right here in this room. November 18th, 2025 at 7 o'clock, we will meet at the Casco Career Academy for our annual November meeting. Board opening comments?
Just want to compliment everybody on a job well done. Homecoming week, I think, was a success. Entertainment on Friday was very cool, or Thursday, I should say, at the football game. The band and color guard did great. The dance team did good. So weather was nice. Can't complain. Everyone's still tired.
I second that motion.
Yeah.
Anyone else? Okay. Items under the consent agenda are considered routine and will be enacted under one motion. There will be no separate discussions of these items prior to the time the board votes, unless a board member requests an item be removed from the consent agenda for separate action. Do I have an approval?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Motion's been made by Alex with a second by Jenny. All in favor?
Aye.
Administrative reports. Don't everybody go at once.
I'll go first. The Department of Workforce Development is coming October 23rd from noon to 2 if you'd like to join us. It will involve 3 things. We will be providing a tour with student speakers at about 8 or 9 different stations across the area. It's manufacturing month, that's why they're coming, but they want to see all the programs. And so it'll be facilitated by students, and then we'll have a roundtable discussion about youth apprenticeship because we are one of the leading schools in the state. And then we will go over the DNS for Manufacturing Month because they've been an amazing partner for us and have supported us with numerous financial donations and in-kind donations, and so for some pictures and stuff. And so we invited the 12 businesses that provided us funds, like 80-some thousand, something like 76, for the Fast Forward grant, and that's why they picked our school system along with the state grant that they gave us. So we'll be highlighted by them this month.
Get those news stations here.
Oh yeah, we try our best.
That's the 23rd, you said?
Yep, October 23rd, Thursday at noon, we start right in here. And Green Bay Packaging is setting for people, in case you're wondering.
That'll be it for people.
I was excited that they responded, so.
Yeah. Good.
So, at the primary school, our fall assessments are actually wrapping up this week. They went pretty well, and then we'll be analyzing data to look at new intervention groups and that sort of thing. So, coming up tomorrow night is our trunk or treat with the intermediate school. So that's tomorrow night at 4:30, 6:30, so hopefully it doesn't rain out. And then later this month, on Monday the 27th, I believe it is, we have an in-service day. So we have some people from CISA coming to give us some PD on co-planning, and then we'll use some of the rest of the day to work on our reading plans that need to be written. And then Friday of that week is actually Halloween, so we'll have primary school, we have a Halloween parade in the mornings. Starts at 8 o'clock sharp. Anybody wants to join us? It's always a fun time. That's kind of it for right now.
Okay. At the middle school, I tried to say, okay, what happened since the last meeting? Well, I was unfortunately sick last meeting, so I tried to give you a little bit of an update to be relatively brief. From what I would have told you last month was that it was a good start to the school year. Things were off and running well. I would have shared with you that the 3 main items of our school success plan for the middle school are with our reading and our math goals. Instead of just doing growth or proficiency, this year we're going to try a goal for reading and for math that looks at growth and proficiency, both, rather than one or the other. Some of our proficiency has been really good. We had a conversation about that. I think Mike and Dave and a couple of others in the previous meeting. But we're going to try to look at both goals. And then for behavior, this year our goal is to have our positive entries into our data system be greater than or equal to those which would be minor or major. Which is a big deal for us at the middle school. So we're trying to push recognizing positive behavior as well. Things since then, at the middle school and high school, we did our September safety drills. Between house and fire drill. That all went well. We had our first of our alternate parent-teacher conference hours. A few years back, you gave approval for us taking one of those parent-teacher conference dates, the in-person dates, and turning it into 4 hours. And so there's 4 intentional hours over the course of the school year where the staff are expected to be intentionally communicating with families. We had the Golden Apple Kickoff, which for the middle school staff means that they will end up with a piece of chocolate in addition to the things. And then a couple of updates. Next week, Tuesday, is when I am planning to interview the applicants for the administrative assistant position. And Jane and I, and I have a team with me for that. And then Jane and I are going to be interviewing some additional special education applicants the last week of October. So there's been a fair amount of hiring or opportunities to hopefully hire, whether I was wearing my AD hat in August and early September or not still. So 2 months worth of updates.
Yeah, homecoming happened. I'll piggyback a little bit off of what Jenny had said. So obviously, since we've met, the biggest thing has been homecoming for the high school. Starts off the week before, even on that Saturday and Sunday with hallway decorations. And it was actually kind of neat that Saturday as well. Saturday at 3, I gave a tour for the class of 1970 through the building as well. And the seniors were here decorating their hallway. And they just thought it was so cool to not only see the building, but then students in the building as well decorating the hallway for homecoming. And then they all had the comment, oh, remember when we had the sock cups and the dances here and everything as well. So it's just cool to hear them talk about that. But yeah, so we had students in here decorating Saturday and Sunday. Monday, we had our Ironman volleyball, which when I got there was a ton of parents and students and a lot of energy in the gym, which was really a fun kickoff to the week. On Wednesday, we had all of our fall sports athletes walk through all of the other schools. And it's always neat to see the kids at the middle school, the intermediate, and the primary, just how much they look up to the high school kids. And as I was walking down to each of the schools, that's kind of what I said to the kids, like, just realize they really, really look up to you. And you could tell that as you were walking through, and I think our students really appreciated that as well. Power Puff last Wednesday night as well. Thursday, the kindergartners came up here and they walked through the halls to look at the hallway decorations. So again, it's just neat to see the little kids who are on the high school kids as well, and how excited they get about things. I also thought that even unconventionally with the football game on Thursday, it was neat on Friday to be able to showcase cross country and soccer a little bit as well with the Russ family invite, and then soccer game as well. So kind of having their own little day during homecoming as well as school. And then obviously it ended up on Saturday night with the dance. So overall, I think homecoming week went well. Other than that, like Pete said, we finished our assessments the end of September for IXL and HMH. So going through assessing that data, looking through it, working with students who need a little bit more support in English and math and things like that during Spartan time, just to help and support them along the way as much as we can.
So I gave you a little sheet there, that's a little update on Steve Okanowski on it. I did meet with the committee and kind of came up with, this is kind of a program. So I talked with Nancy Frank, and she's actually, there's a wedding that a lot of them are gonna be at, so she's gonna get back to me on maybe some quotes that we could use on some of these plaques. And Mike actually has help putting some plaques around, because he had his hands into so many aspects of the school community. And then another possibility is maybe this hallway up there, Okanowski Hall of Champions or something like that. So just kind of gave sort of an example of plaque, what it might look like. So just trying to get some different quotes. The one that me and Nancy talked about was not school appropriate. We talked about, said, nope, we gotta think of a better one than that. So we're getting closer to a recommendation of what we feel is necessary.
One of those has to be the burning ring of fire, just so you know. There's a story behind that, but he used to sing it after every football game with the kids, so.
No, this one was, I don't give a rat's, He said that a lot. Yeah, we're kind of in the last week of regular season here. All the fall sports have done really at the top of the conference. Volleyball conference championship. Both end up third, qualified for sectionals. They're all finished up, and then football obviously is the one loss. And then cross country, they have Friday their conference meeting. We're really looking forward to maybe possibly getting the first one of those in the country. So yeah, so it's coming down to the end here. We are hosting volleyball, soccer reps. They were supposed to play Friday, but Alabama canceled it actually. So they will travel to Marinette, and then we'll wait to see our football game on. And the dance team is getting ready for competition. And basketball and wrestling and everything.
Fall is here, whether they like it or not.
Okay, things are going pretty well on my side of things. Last week, I met with our team of counselors, our school psych, community health worker, and myself, and we are participating with CSIS 7 in their Project Aware program, which is kind of a grant fund. So we get to meet with Marcy a few times throughout the year for about a half day to be able to kind of take a look at what we're doing for students district-wide for mental health, and kind of work on creating a comprehensive mental health plan for our students. And we have a lot of really great things in place. So we're kind of just starting with what do we have, but trying to make sure that it flows from building to building, and makes sense and that we're not missing anything. So that's been really great. I got a lot of positive feedback from the counselors that participated in that, being appreciative of that time to collaborate, because they're kind of singletons in most of the building other than the high school where we have two, so they're kind of doing their own thing. So being able to have that time to work with other counselors was great. So I'm excited about getting that started and working with CISA on that. And then also collaborating with CISA on that co-planning support. So Pete kind of alluded to, we're gonna have somebody in working on co-planning on our in-service on the 27th. Thankful to have some time during the school year to do some professional development with staff. And today we had one of the people from CISA in working with specific teams. So she spent the day going around to different teams, working on sitting on their planning, to kind of get a feel for how is our current state of co-planning going and what is that looking like. And the purpose is really to just be proactive around our planning for all students in the classroom. So it's exciting work and going on. So those are a couple updates from me.
Been busy on my end. I got to start prepping for the annual meeting. It's my favorite time of the year. All the numbers came out today, so I even shut my door a lot today because I'm just like, I got to concentrate with all this information coming out. We did notice something different, which I think we'll get in more in depth with it when we get more information at the annual meeting, but we noticed on the revenue limit worksheet this year, we have 3.6 FTE students for an independent charter school. And I've never seen that on there, so we had to call the state, kind of find out. We're assuming it's one that was in Howard that was started, correct, is what we're assuming. Unfortunately, you can't.
School.
Yeah, so unfortunately, we can't get the information of like who these students are, but there are resident students attending elsewhere. It's not considered an open enrollment. So they put it on your pupil count, a separate line item, and then we have to pay it out. It comes off your state aid at the end of the year, kind of like the vouchers do. I mean, we're gonna see if we can find out more information, but that was something kind of new today, and that took a little time today, because we're like, oh my gosh, what do we do? Do we budget for this? So it's a cost of, what was it, 12,000?
A little more than 12,000.
A little over
per kid.
12,000 a kid. So we have budgeted for that to accommodate that payment that comes out. And then copier leases we made our final lease payment this September, so we've hit our 5 years, so we'll start new leases next year. So I've already had Rhyme come in, and I'll have to have 2 other vendors come through. So I do try to pick days that are in-service days so that they're not affecting students or any instruction time. So I know we are having one come on the in-service day in October, and then we'll have to work maybe during the Christmas time break to do the rest of it. So those RFPs will eventually be coming.
Anything? We are members of the Green Bay Chamber of Commerce, and I'm part of the Partners in Education Board. And we had a meeting, when I say we, Algoma Kiwani and LC had a meeting with the chamber this summer, because we do pay them to be a member of the chamber, and we're kind of like, what really are we getting from that? And so they admitted not a lot, and so the things that we really do are Find Your Inspiration, which is a career exploration with the middle schoolers, and participate in the Golden Apple Awards. And we to be a member, it's based on our pupil count, so we pay $6,000 a year for those 2 things. So, you know, Mike is investigating doing a reverse career fair, which would take the place of Find Your Inspiration. And maybe, you know, we could do something other than the Golden Apple to recognize our staff. So we're going to be looking into, do we really need to continue with the Green Bay Chamber of Commerce? And then last night I went to the Somerville. They were the architect that designed the capital referendum. So this this room, the gym. They kind of like moved next door and built a new building right on the river. Very, very nice building. So I went there for the ribbon cutting and actually ran into some people I used to work with when I worked at Mid-State Tech College, because Somerville is doing some work for them as well. So they came all the way over here to be part of that ribbon cutting, too. So that was kind of nice. It's nice to have a relationship with them because Melanie Parma, who we work with, Tech Ed guys wanted to put a door between two rooms.
And they're like, oh, we're just gonna cut in a door. And then the question was, is that a load-bearing wall? And so, you know, I called Melanie and she very graciously had one of their engineers look at it, and it was not, and he drew up a real simple plan based on what the guys wanted to do and didn't charge us for it. So, nice having those connections.
Yes, they have a very beautiful.
Everything's really nice.
We helped pay for it.
I'm sure we did. It's still on this level.
Okay, we have nothing on discussion, so getting into action items. Discussion approve the update PA and speaker system at the intermediate school.
Hello, everyone. I'm here in place of Heather, so she owes me one. Just a little background on the existing PA system in the intermediate school. I don't know exactly how old it is, but it sounds like it was originally installed around the 90s. So we're talking 30-some years old already. And it was installed when that building was open concept. And what we're finding now is with everything closed in and rooms built, we have areas of the building that do not, the PA system does not cover. It's mostly the rooms on the north and south end. Classrooms are pretty good, but it's like the A rooms on both ends of the building. We've also found we have speakers that aren't working. We don't know if they failed or if at some point in the past they were just disconnected for whatever reason. But we do have areas of the building that are not covered. Programming that system, everything now you can program through a web. This, I have to plug an analog phone into it and punch in star something to get this and then put dates in. Star this, put in the schedule. So, you know, not that it's impossible, but that's how old it is. So we went out, Heather wanted to look at new systems. So we got 3 quotes. I'll just go through them. The first one was from O&W Communications. That's who put the system that we have now in. Their solution was to replace the entire thing. We're talking replace the head, replace the wiring, replace all the speakers, install new speakers. Their quote, $108,502. The second quote we got was from Johnson Control. We went with them because that's who has the systems here at the middle, or at the other 3 buildings. Their solution was to just replace the head, install speakers where we have none, where Heather wants speakers added, and repair the ones that don't work. Their quote, $72,490. And then the third quote we got was from Connecting Point, Camera Corner Connecting Point. Now their solution is the same as Johnson Control. Replace the head, fix speakers that aren't working, install speakers that, in areas that Heather identified as needing, she wants covered. But in addition to that, they're also quoting us a panic button. So to lock all the doors, as you know, the front door is unlocked during the day. The very front door is unlocked during the day. And there are certain times of the day the other door is unlocked. It's like at the beginning of the day to let the kids in, and at the end of the day to let people out. There'd be a panic button in case there was an emergency to lock all the doors in the intermediate. Some signage in the hallways that we could run verbiage on in case of an emergency. And it would flash lights in case of an emergency as well. And also in the band room, a strobe light to let them know when an announcement's coming on. It'll strobe so they can stop playing the instruments and listen to what's going on. So, and their quote was $44,198. So with those 3 quotes, our recommendation was to go with Camera Corner Connecting Point. Like I said, it solves all of our problems and actually gives us features really we at first didn't ask for. But once we started talking about it, it's like, yeah, that would be nice to have as far as for security. So, if you have any questions, we have 2 representatives from Camera Corner here. If you do have any questions on their proposal.
Now, the other 2 companies did not have the panic button.
They didn't have anything other than either replacing the entire system or updating the existing. They didn't have
this is something that could be installed during the school year?
Well, I think my thought is, we probably do it maybe over winter break, as you're running cable for like the signage halls, and for the areas that don't have speakers, you're gonna run stuff, and you don't want to interrupt the students' class. So,
Before summer break?
yeah, I mean, you'd have to schedule it with connecting point, but my guess is either winter break if they can't get that in, or spring break.
Scott, will you elaborate on the signage?
If you'd like, sure.
Real quick.
Sure.
If I could. I'm Bob Miller with Camera Corner at Connecting Point. I did the design work for you guys for this system. The signage devices he speaks about for the corridors are actually digital plaques made by Atlas Hungler Incorporated, worldwide manufacturer of emergency communication audio systems and so forth. What these plaques will do is they will display the time and date when they're just no more running. We're also implementing along with those emergency notification software called Intrado Revolution that integrates with your phone system. The panic button that Scott spoke about integrates into Intrado Revolution, and we dictate when that panic button is pushed what happens within your building. It's all IP integrated with all your systems, your phone system, your paging system, your door system. We can actually integrate it with your fire system as well to unlock any door holds that are held open with door magnets from fire doors. So that Intrado Revolution can, number one, dial 911, broadcast a verbal message over your PA system, change the color of the displays of the clocks to red, green, or blue, scroll a message across that stating what the emergency is, and flash the strobe light on the bottom. So that's what these clocks are, the signage device that he speaks about can do for you. So it's mass notification system is what it is. What we can also do for you once we start with the intermediate school is expand it to all your schools along with the phone system. So if there's a lockdown emergency button pushed in one school, it can lock the doors in all the schools, broadcast messages, pops up, screen pops on your computers, send messages to your cell phone with the cell phone app on it. So you can initiate emergency protocols with your cell phone if you have a cell phone app on your phone. It's a very robust system that's very scalable. We're starting out very minimum at this point with that, with our proposal, but the system can grow as you need it to.
Now, the plan for next year is to replace our phone system.
Yes.
Is this going to be able to be integrated with the new phone system?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I can't imagine why we need a new phone system after everybody's been off of, nobody has phones. Even at home.
Anybody have any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Well, I just have one quick question.
Uh-huh.
When the Buildings and Grounds Committee first met, this wasn't on the radar. But there are other things were, but now, and I'm totally in favor for this, I just want to bring this up since this is a board group instead of Buildings and Grounds Committee group. But the last discussion we had about the floors, which is going to come up in this meeting, was we weren't sure on the timing of being able to do that, and if it can't be done, if the corridors can't, in high school can't be done until after this school year, it would be on the next year's budget. So I think that maybe influences the vote a little bit on this, because if the corridors aren't getting paid for until the next year's budget, then there's more money in it for this
It's
project
gonna
for
be
this
this
year.
year's budget, that's why it's
Right.
on the agenda. The corridors, because they will hold the price, I've talked to them. And the discussion was they'll start it in June. So it's gonna be in this school year.
And we still, okay, so the Buildings and Grounds had that pot of money,
Mhm.
but then we also put, what, 300,000, almost 300,000?
250, I think.
250
of the project's budget
of
is
project's
there
budget
to
to
pay
be
for
used
this.
this year, and so that's
For
what this is
incidentals.
gonna be coming
Yeah.
out of.
Yep, so it's two
Right.
different areas that they're coming
Okay.
from to cover both.
So the corridor stuff would be not done until June, but it would be approved right now? We would pay, how much would we pay ahead on that then?
They're not asking for payment right now. I called and they're holding the quote for us because they know we're a school district and they know that we need flexibility on it.
So would a project being done next June come out of next year's Buildings and Grounds Committee?
No,
No, it would come out of the school year, so,
Right.
Yeah,
even though
because
they
it's
started in
June.
June.
It's approved now, it's just,
Yeah.
scope of work will be done.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so I have a motion by Jenny. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Alex, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Discuss and approve the donation from Jeffrey Haroldson. It's a donation to the LC High School band.
Yeah, so I can give a little context. So Andy Haroldson he was supposed to be a grad in 2004, committed suicide his junior year. This is his uncle. His uncle had received some money from somebody else in the family, and because of the positive impact that band has had in the family's life, they wanted to make a donation in honor of Andy. So they called up Clint Piper and sent a check for $1,500 because of the impact band had in the family's life.
Harrelson family had 3 kids, 2 boys and a girl.
Yep.
I'll make a motion to accept.
I'll second. Motion's been made and seconded to accept. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Discuss and approve a donation from the basketball boosters in the total of $3,524.92.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Alex,
I'll second.
second by Jenny. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Discuss and approve the high school corridor project.
Okay, looking to, we're recommending Lee's Color Studio. That was the one that he liked the best. It was also the least, and that is the company that will hold the price for us. So we got all the final bids. Exotic was the one that we were originally missing, Hall 4400, which shouldn't say that on that sheet, but it's on there now. Yeah, so still looking to do that so that it will come out in this school year, and then the project will start early June.
Questions? Motion?
Motion.
Motion by Alex, second.
I'll second.
Second by Brandy, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Discuss and approve request for homeschooled student to take 2 related arts classes during the 25-26 school year.
So this is in Heather's building. Heather's aware of this and kind of prepped this ahead of time. She feels she has space. She checked both classes. The student is interested in taking art and library, those related arts classes, and recommends that we approve that. So similar to, I think in September, we did the same thing for another family. A similar thing, just another family reached out about it.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Second by Jenny, all in favor?
Aye.
Jenny, your name's on the next sheet. Discuss and approve the 25-26 MOU peer review mentoring grant.
So that is a document that just shares how we are gonna divide the money up between De Pere and Luxemburg-Casco, and so we created an MOU agreement. Rebecca is the fiscal agent. I volunteered her in case you guys are wondering. And so then what we did is created a way that we split the money equally based on how many new teacher hires there are, so we actually receive more money than De Pere does, because we had more teacher hires than what they did. And it's just, in order to receive the grant, you have to partner with another school district, so we reached out to De Pere because we felt like we have a lot of commonalities together. Outside of Jane, we stole her from De Pere, we said we wouldn't give her back either. And so then that money is given to us and we're using that to increase our mentor-mentee pay, because it hasn't been increased in like a long time. To increase it for our mentors and to offset some costs for us. And then we have a mentor-mentee coordinator as well, which you'll see on next month's meeting, and just submit it today. So we have interviews for that position, and so we're trying to build teacher capacity leadership in that. And so everything that we have, DePere also has, we have to have meetings with them, and then we create curriculum for the teachers and support each other in doing that. And if there's a singleton as an example, ag teacher would be a great one. And because we only have one, and they have an ag teacher, that we can do collaborative work together. And so it allows us to do some things where we couldn't do before because we didn't have that partnership. So we feel like that's a really value add, and they're easy to work with. So we have a nice team. Basically, you're just approving that we collaborate together and receive $25,000 if you really want it.
Motion?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Brandon, second by Robin.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Discuss and approve NWTC Start College Now applications.
NWTC is already to start up their second session of fall classes. Just have one student looking to take a Intro to Diversity Studies class at NWTC, the second portion of this fall semester.
Motion by Alex, second.
I'll second.
Second by Jenny, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. 2026 School Liaison Officer Agreement.
Yeah, this is for school liaison officers, so for me and for Dana. It's the same kind of agreement. The price has gone up a little bit for wages for them. We usually do this in December, but they provided the paperwork early because they knew what their figures were, so we're just approving it a little bit earlier than we usually do. There was no increase in expenses, so their cell phones, the gas, the squad card, squad maintenance was the same as last year, which was the same as the year before. So that was kind of nice, and then the increases just follow the sheriff deputies' contracts.
Questions? Motion?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Jenny,
Second.
second by Robin, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Discuss approve esports club for grades 7 through 12.
Okay, so Dave and Monica are here also. They would be the club advisors. So they can talk a little bit about that.
So one thing that I've noticed as, since this is my fifth year, is that we have some students that are slipping through the cracks that aren't really athletic, but they are missing that camaraderie with their peers. And when you talk to them, I think video games is their world. And as you look further out there, there are people that are actually getting Division I scholarships, full ride scholarships to play video games at Madison. And I think there's at least 8 other schools within the Midwest that are giving full ride scholarships for this opportunity. And I think it's one way for us to reach some of those students that we're missing because they're not into sports. They're just not in there. So what it is there are certain games that are part of the league and they will learn how to communicate. And that digital citizenship piece where they're actually putting appropriate things out into the world. And it just gives them that other connection. So I was hoping to actually start this. I've been talking with our IT person in high school, so started off with Mr. Offenall, and then was with Ray, and now with Dave, that it's like, okay, this is something that I think could really help our students. So I would like to really just look at getting this rolling, and give those students that opportunity. We also have some of our wonderful athletes, when I've asked them about it, they actually get very excited about it as well. So it's another piece for them to, again, connect to the sport. One thing that does come with this is there is some equipment and stuff like that that we need to have access to. But we have opportunities to start working with the kids on how to play the games without remote. So most of these games are actually on computers. And when I've talked to other the college coaches out there, I've talked to one from Southern Mississippi, and then I've also talked to the coach from UW Stout. And they mentioned that getting the kids out and actually playing on a computer and not just on a handheld device can actually help them. And it also helps with that communication piece and getting that teamwork, because a lot of times the kids are just used to playing alone, they're just by themselves, and it actually is more of a team.
And with the games themselves, like any other sport, there's that sportsmanship piece for like regular athletics. Like it's the same requirements, tournaments.
That they can actually take ownership of what they're doing and get them excited to actually start really competing at a higher level next year.
If they have a replacement this summer here at the high school, we have the equipment here that we can at least start as a limited run. Obviously, if we get approved and fundraising to purchase better equipment to upgrade those machines in time. But we're hoping to get that ball rolling at least so we can start forming new teams, start fundraising and start building.
So would you be able to start this club without any funds?
As of right now, with the equipment that we have here at the high school, especially with this summer upgrade, we have the ability to do so. Competitively down the line, maybe nationally, we're going to need to fundraise some money from the club to upgrade some equipment here at the high school to be able to hold those meetings effectively.
I can't speak for the rest of the board, but my own opinion is that I see the value in it that you guys do also. I think that it's a good spot for kids who might be falling through the cracks. I really like the way you guys put it together. The code of conduct and all that kind of stuff is really good. My personal issue with it is that, you know, we have a trap team and a fishing team that got 0 from the school, and those are also college sports with scholarship opportunities. And that would be a frustrating thing for me to have the school fund this to get started when those groups did it on their own. You know, some of those sports have significant, I mean, I've been involved in fundraising for the fishing team, and they have significant costs with boat gas and drivers. And I mean, my son made it to the national tournament 2 years ago with 0 recognition from the school. So I think this is a good idea. My hiccup with it is funding from the school. I would need some convincing there.
And that was where we would actually, we're just looking to see if we can actually start doing some of this, and actually, we're not looking for like.
We're not looking for any money.
Right now, we were just hoping to be able to use the computers that are already here to actually start it, but we'd actually, the majority of the stuff would, actually all of it would be through our fundraising campaigns and stuff like that. Somewhat like the fishing team does, is they will actually go out. But we wanted to actually have the board support in order to actually start the fundraising piece, because of the fact that we don't want to just start a club without approval.
Okay.
We have stuff here to get started with without asking for any funding, but to our understanding, we need approval to make sure we can open the facility.
We would have to be careful on how we approve this. though,
Okay,
because
yeah,
it-
so what happens is, like, the computers in our CAD lab are gonna be adequate for a small amount of students and their bandwidth, because everybody else is gonna be off the internet, so they'll have enough, bandwidth to be able to operate on a small scale. But eventually, that equipment will need to be upgraded, and we were even talking about, like, are we gonna be able to have enough bandwidth out to be able to, once they start competing, to be able to handle that kind of load. And that's what you were talking about fundraising for that type of stuff, right? What I did is I did offer, through the district funds to pay that initial startup cost for software for the games. And that was because, again, this is reaching a really specific niche of kids that we don't reach any other way. These are our gamers, these are the kids that are on their computers, these are the kids that are sitting at home with their gaming system, not socially active, they're not really connected to the school in any kind of way, like, the way our athletes are connected to the school. And so I really saw this as a great idea to be able to reach kids we don't normally reach. And so, in the limited term that we can with the equipment that we have, I thought supporting with the software to bring those kids and have them have something in school, something that's supervised by adults, something that helps them find their purpose, the $5,000 was not that big of a ticket item to get this started. After this initial startup, to buy the software for the games, then any upgrades or expansions and any expansions on the computers would be the responsibility of the club.
This would be some of the kids that Jane was talking about before.
Yes,
Need the help.
it brought to mind, one of the things we did when we were talking about that comprehensive mental health plan are what activities do we have? Are there groups of kids that maybe we are missing? Because having those protective factors of finding other kids with similar likes, having that connection can have a huge positive impact, so.
I mean, I guess if you look at it from the athletic standpoint, you pay coaches to coach basketball, football. This is competitive. It's a similar amount to what we're paying coaches.
That's the question I was asking. Is that what you're looking at, that coaches or what, that are part of this team that are paid also, or?
At this point, I wasn't looking to get paid because of the fact I know that it's just a startup. It's just one of those things that we're really just trying to get these kids to start coming to school with a good feeling. It depending on how big it gets, that would be a whole nother thing. But I just see the benefit in it because of the fact that I have seen so many kids, being the computer teacher, they love to talk to me about this stuff. And it's just one of those things, it's like, you know what? There's possibilities out there, because I had a 7th grader last year that was like, I want to be a gamer. That's what I want to do. I want to do this professionally. And the kids were making fun of it. And I'm like, you can't make fun of because this is a thing. This is going to get bigger. It's going to be an opportunity.
There's plenty of initiatives in the area. I agree, Algoma that already has an esports team. Ray Waddell has established Cougars esports team as well. There is a local competition, so already in the city.
I believe Denmark has a team,
Yes.
and then Green Bay School teams. So we're not, this isn't
It's
something.
not a new. And to address any concerns about those kids trying to get on games or anything during the school day, I have the ability to restrict that to make sure that we cannot get on and it turn into a classroom disruption in the parent system.
I mean, like I say, I'm 100% for it. I'm struggling with, we had fishing and trap, both school sanctioned sports that started on their own. So I struggle with the disconnect there. And those are sports, I think, too, that reach kids that don't participate in sports. And also have scholarship opportunities.
But look, just like those get donations,
Mhm.
I'm sure that these people will get.
Oh, that's what,
Right.
yeah, that's
Right,
what we're planning. I mean,
exactly.
we
So
can-
why do we have to fund it to start it if we didn't fund those if they're gonna get donations? I mean, the way this is written right now, if we approve this as it's written, it's a line item of $4,694. They think that if other clubs have self-funded themselves to get started, why do we pay for this one? That's my only pickup. I do think it's important. I see the importance in it. I truly do.
Any other comments or questions? Hearing none, do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
What is the motion for specifically?
To approve the startup of the club, grades 7 through 12, with the initial startup cost of $46,4944.
I will second that. A motion's been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
And, okay. So 6 to 1. Okay, thank you. Discuss and approve the purchase of a primary school floor scrubber.
All right, so this was the floor scrubber that was on the project from the B&G committee. So Lee, now that summer craziness is over, he received the 3 quotes. His recommendation is the Belson Company one. He said overall it's just a better product and it has a longer run time, so you can go longer with projects. So he's looking for the approval of the Belson Company for $15,460.82.
And they are a noted company.
Yes.
They've
Yeah,
been in business.
I'm glad you guys went with that, that would have been our recommendation too.
Good. We'll be happy.
Do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Brandy, second
Me,
by
Robin, sorry.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Discuss and approve the purchase of an intermediate school water heater.
I'm hoping this is the last thing that breaks. But, knock on wood, I know, right? So, as stated in the background, if there was a leak in the heat exchanger, and so it blocked it. I don't understand much about water heaters, but it doesn't work.
They provide
And-
hot water.
Yeah.
You know, what else
And I
is
know
there to do?
he's had an accommodate, it's been working in the building that he's worked out it with food service and stuff that they're getting the water that they need other ways, but yes. So, I researched this a little bit because I knew we didn't buy one that long ago, and so we did buy the Bradford one in September of '21, and I was disappointed to hear that it lasted only 4 years. And so we were a year past the warranty, because it was a 3-year warranty. So originally they got bids on the Bradford, and I'm like, why are we getting the Bradford again if it didn't last? So I worked with actually all 3 companies and talked through, one was a Bach, I believe, and then the HTP, and they all said that that HTP is actually, the way better brand. They've heard it been known, they have better luck with it, that it lasts longer. It's built with stainless steel versus the other one with the carbon steel, so it holds up better when you have the harder water. So for corrosion, so my recommendation was to go with the HTP Phoenix. And then, I was gonna still choose energy control and design, just because we are working on with them with everything else, with that HVAC maintenance system and everything. And A&J, we just don't do a lot of work with. It's usually either Tweet or Energy Control, who I'm just more familiar with. And I know the gallon size is the same, and it's still a 3-year warranty on the tank and then 1 year on parts.
So at 2.5 years, we check it out.
Oh, yes.
And
Oh, yes.
this is the hot water heater that we have in the other 2 schools, right?
In the what, at the primary school,
At the
where
primary school?
Phoenix were put in, yes.
Okay.
So that was kind of another reason I went with it, just knowing it was a better product.
Yep.
Do I have a motion from someone?
I'll make the motion.
Motion from Robin, second.
I'll second.
Second from Dave, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. I have to get organized here. Okay. Second reading. Starting with L, all the way through. The alphabet gets bigger all the time. Through triple R. Am I going to be able to go through a bunch of them?
I have concerns on item, which would be item M and item double F. Other than that, I don't know if anyone else has any.
M, and which one?
Double F.
Is that a motion then to go through all of them except those?
I'll make that motion as long as no one else has any other objections or concerns on any of the other policies.
No, you're okay now? Okay, because we went through concerns last month. Okay, so I'm looking at a motion for L
Discussion.
through double R, with the exception of M and double F.
Triple R.
Triple R, isn't that the last one?
Yes, triple.
Yeah, so the last one.
Sorry.
Yeah,
I thought we were doing stopped at double R, and I'm like, why are we stopping?
yeah, triple R.
With the exception of excluding M and FF.
Yep. Okay, that's a motion by Dave. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Brandy? Okay. Motion's been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. Okay, M, which is policy 144.5.
I have, I say, a few concerns on that one, 144.5. This, when I read it, creates the potential to have minority members of the board muzzled, not allowed to speak, or not allowed to speak to anyone other than the only one that really authorized to speak by this appears to be the school board president, and I don't believe we should have any kings, or in this case, a queen. So any board member should be able to speak to the public regarding any of the topics that are up, and therefore, I look at this and think that it's, you know, for instance, it says things are prohibited. Well, no. I don't like the fact that board members can be muzzled, and that's what this would end up creating the possibility of, especially the minority board members.
So do you have a disagreement with the last sentence in the second paragraph? Is that correct?
That is part of it.
Okay. So that sentence reads, conduct by board members that compromises the reputation or legal position of the district are prohibited.
I would have a problem with that. If you look at general expectations, item P also, the last one, this goes any actual or perceived conflict of interest is awfully vague. But again, also, it just generally goes ahead and says that the only people, when I read it, the only person that's authorized to speak is the president.
Where do you see that?
I did not make the notation exactly where, but that is, I'll have to find it.
So when I look under the title Board Member Communication, which I think is addressing exactly what we're talking about, as an individual, but not on behalf of the board. So if you're at a sporting event talking to somebody, you need to say, it's my opinion, I'm not speaking on behalf of
Of
the board.
course, and that's always been our procedure and policy.
That's still in there.
Yeah.
And that's what it says. That you state it, it's, you know, don't go, the board says, it's, in my opinion, as a board member, this is what I think.
Well, don't you think it's important that the board member is not allowed to say something that compromises the reputation or legal position of the district? Because somebody could be out there flabbergasting the school, and that'd be bad for everybody.
So you're saying that we have to go ahead and always just agree to
No.
what everybody else is saying?
No, but if somebody says, oh, I feel like the school is breaking the law and this is a bunch of BS and nobody cares about anything, if that's not true, it shouldn't be able to be said in public. I think that's an important thing to have, because if we have a board member or two that go off the wall and there's no repercussion, that's not good either, because it muddies all of our names.
The person on the board speaks, it should always be that it is understood that they are speaking as an individual, not for the board. I don't have a problem with that.
But I see what Robin's saying, and Dave, I see what you're saying, but the thing is that, okay, I'm trying to think. We haven't had any problems here, but in other districts, when I think of, was it Wrightstown? That board members were speaking, and they were speaking to the press, but they weren't saying it, that they were representing themselves. They represented more of the board, and I think that's where some of the lawyers got into it than from the press. And I think that's what this says. You know, this isn't made to squelch anybody. It's made to not run off at the mouth.
I mean, I feel like,
Express my concerns.
I get your concern, but I do feel like board member communication, subparagraph B, gives us the right to speak our opinion. As long as it's noted that it's our opinion,
it's your
and not on behalf of
opinion.
the board.
Who's gonna determine if something is compromising? the
Okay, can you
reputation
speak
of-
up a little bit? I have
Sorry.
this fan here.
Who's gonna determine what compromises the reputation or legal position of the district?
If it's something that's agreed upon
In-
or set, you know, that was
By
set
a
here.
majority or by everybody, or?
Technically, it is supposed to be majority. And that's
So
why
if
we
a
vote on
majority,
things.
if a person went off the wall, and then the majority of the remaining members voted that that person was off the wall, it would be deemed that they broke the rule. So it'd have to be a majority vote of the other board members.
But that would only be if you were speaking from a board member standpoint. Like, if you were commenting on something, that my personal opinion is this, you can say whatever you want.
Right.
But if you're using your position on the board,
It's to clarify that this is the way I feel.
correct.
You know, the board may have said this, but I kind of disagree.
Yeah.
And this is why I disagree. And
And that
that,
would
I think, is what it's saying.
I think without that paragraph, it leaves us very open to board members going rogue, which would be bad for the reputation of the entire board. I mean, there's nothing here that says that your opinion has to agree with everybody else's. It just says that you can't say something that is putting the board in legal jeopardy or slandering the reputation, which both of those things are usually illegal in any circumstance.
Being the queen, I make a motion to approve. Come on, chuckle, you guys, chuckle.
That was good.
Yeah.
Good humor and
Right
fun for
into it.
today.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Motion's been made and seconded, all in favor?
Roll call.
Roll call. Dave?
No.
Janet, yes. Brandy?
No.
Alex?
Yes.
Robin?
Yes?
Jonathan?
Yes.
Jenny?
Yes.
So 5 yes, 2 no, motion carried. Okay, letter F.
This right here, give us the ability to say whatever you want to say as long as it can be heard from us.
Discuss and approve policy 7530.02, staff use of personal communication devices.
I gotta think. I realize that these were discussed last meeting, but 3 of us were not present at the last meeting also, so it would have been raised then. So I would, well, according to the minutes, I thought they said there were 3 missing.
Jenny was missing for the first
Oh,
part
the
of the
first
meeting,
part.
but she was here after.
Okay.
Yeah.
The concerns that I have on that one, a couple of them, one, who's going to determine or who's going to be the arbiter or whatever in terms of this, something was violated or not. My biggest concern is when you're using your personal devices and how much of your personal device is now subject to. So if a staff member sends a text to another staff member and say that they have a concern about whatever school district issue is, now their personal device, whether it be their phone, their laptop, their home computer, or whatever, is now subject to, controlled by the school district. And that's where my concern on this part is. It's just the privacy issue of your personal devices that, and who's gonna determine whether that's been violated or not, and if so, how are they gonna go ahead and access that information without violating their individual rights? That's my concern on it.
So, as administrators, like, we do not have district cell phones. So a lot of times when we are texting each other or that we are sending messages to each other, first of all, if we're using our school email, it'll all be archived within the school email.
Right.
If we're
That's
doing
good.
text, that is our responsibility to maintain those texts. And honestly, if something happens and somebody says that we're violating FERPA or violating some rule, our phones can actually be confiscated. However, what can be looked at is only what is specifically being searched for. So if they're specifically looking for text for a specific kid or referencing a certain incident, no matter what else they happen to find on their phones, okay, that's the only thing that can be looked for and that can be taken. So yes, that is a risk that we run if we decide to text on our phones. And other staff as well. I mean, if there is something that, if we have coaches that are texting, that's why we encourage our coaches to use a third-party device like Remind, or there's other, Jenny, what's the other one that you use? Yeah, okay. We tell them that's what they should be doing, that they should be using these apps because they will keep a records of all the texts, and then you can get in those and you can see those records. If an employee chooses to use their own cell phone without using the app, then that is a risk that they take. That if there is something in question and law enforcement gets involved, law enforcement can take their phone, look for that specific thing, and then, I don't know how long that would take, that it would be out of their possession, but that is a risk that they take. That's why we tell them, don't do that.
The other part, to me, it's awfully vague in terms of at what point does something become relevant to the district versus an employee simply saying something about the district?
That's a
And
s-
that's
that's a
such a
separate
gray
s-
area, and that's my
That's a separate
concern.
First Amendment right, you know, and that is, there's a standard that would be looked at, that, yes, you know, school employees can criticize the school, they can criticize the board, they can criticize their administrator, but there comes a point where it becomes a disruption to the educational environment. Then that is where the First Amendment stops protecting that speech. That is a completely separate legal issue versus a personal communication device issue.
And the other area that I've dealt with this in being a principal is happening during the school day while they're teaching, and that issue was addressed. And so I would share with you, like I get it if it's outside of the school, I could care less what's going on. But if you're doing this because you have a habit and you can't put your cell phone down and you're texting your friends and doing all this other stuff, that's not okay while you're supposed to be teaching. So there are instances where we've had to deal with disciplinary issues, unfortunately.
We don't have time going to looking for these kinds of stuff, you know? I mean, if it's brought to our attention, or there's something that's egregiously happening, then we investigate it. But we don't randomly search people's stuff for things.
And in most cases, it would have to be law enforcement would come in to ask, hey, we have this situation, who are the people that were involved?
And if we have questions about First Amendment, our legal counsel would be involved.
I still don't like that part of it, so when it ultimately comes to a vote, I assume there will be a motion to approve it based on conversations thus far. Am I correct?
I would think, yeah.
I've
I mean,
expressed my-
okay, so-
I've expressed my concerns.
Right. I use my iPad all the time. I get parent comments on it, I get, comments from here. Hey, if anybody wants to look at my emails, they're there. I have nothing to hide. I don't take nasty pictures or anything like that. At my age, I wouldn't know how. No comment, Tyson. Okay. I need a motion to approve.
I'll motion.
Motion by Jonathan, second.
I'll second.
Second by Jenny.
And roll
Would you
call.
like a vote?
Roll call.
Okay. Dave?
No.
Yes. Brandy?
No.
Alex?
Yes.
Robin?
Yes.
Jonathan?
Yes.
And Jenny?
Yes.
So 5-2, motion carried. Any information to pass along? Nothing?
Nope. I'm sorry.
I just never know.
Yeah, no.
Okay, I need a motion to adjourn into closed session.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Alex, second by,
Robin?
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried.